Picture this. You're trapped underground. Above you, your empire is collapsing. The city is burning. Your enemies are closing in. And every sound from above could mean the end. This isn't Hollywood. This isn't Netflix. This was April 1945, Berlin. In this video, we're going inside the last 10 days of Adolf Hitler, buried in his bunker, surrounded by fear, betrayal, and death. Stay with me to the very end, because what happened in those final hours is so unbelievable, so disturbing, that even the history books often leave it out. And I promise, the ending will shock you. Spring 1945. The Third Reich is in free fall. The Allies are closing in from the west. The Soviets, hungry for revenge, are blasting their way through Berlin. Imagine standing in the streets. Flames, rubble, civilians running with no food, no water. The so-called 1,000-year Reich. It hasn't even made it past 12 years. That's not victory. That's collapse. Deep beneath the Reich Chancellery sits the Führer bunker, a concrete tomb, 55 feet underground. This is where Hitler decides to make his last stand. The bunker is not what people imagine. Not sleek, not modern. It's damp, suffocating, with low ceilings and constant air problems. Inside, generals and secretaries, Hitler's partner, Eva Braun, Joseph and Magda Goebbels, with their 6 children, bodyguards, aides, and doctors. Now let me ask you, would you stay in a bunker with a man whose empire is literally burning above him? Drop your answer below. Because the people who stayed, they paid the ultimate price. They lived in fear and denial. They played cards, smoked cigarettes, drank cheap wine. But every hour the ground shook from Soviet artillery. Hitler is not the man of the 1930s. His body trembles constantly. His left hand shakes uncontrollably. He takes handfuls of pills daily. His health is collapsing alongside his empire. Yet, he still explodes in rages. He screams at his generals for betrayal, even though his orders are impossible. How does a man go from commanding millions to shouting at maps of ghost divisions that don't even exist? The answer? Denial. Pure, dangerous denial. Eva Braun had every chance to flee. She could have escaped Germany. She could have lived. Instead, she chose to stay. On April 29th, in a rushed ceremony inside the bunker, she married Hitler. Think about that. The world is ending. Enemies are breaking through your walls. And instead of running, you hold a wedding. That's not love. That's obsession. 6 children, brought into the bunker by Joseph and Magda Goebbels. They played. They laughed. They didn't understand what was happening above. Ask yourself this. Why would parents bring children into a bunker of death? The answer is chilling. It wasn't to protect them. It was to keep them loyal, right until the bitter end. And when the end came, those children never left alive. Outside, Berlin is crumbling. Soviets are less than a mile from the bunker. Reports are flooding in. Entire divisions destroyed. Generals captured. The Western Allies closing from the other side. What does Hitler do in these final hours? Does he negotiate, surrender, try to escape? No. What he does next is almost unbelievable. April 28th. Hitler learns Mussolini has been captured, executed, and strung upside down for the public to see. He knows what fate awaits him if he's caught alive. April 29th. Berlin is encircled. Hitler dictates his final will, raging against everyone he thinks betrayed him. April 30th. The end has come. Hitler gives his dog, Blondie, cyanide. He says goodbye to his staff. Then, he and Eva retreat to his private chamber. Minutes later, a gunshot. Eva swallows cyanide. Hitler shoots himself. Imagine that silence. Imagine being in the hallway, hearing that muffled gunshot, and realizing the dictator of Germany was gone. Just like that. His aides carry the bodies upstairs, pour gasoline over them, set them alight in the courtyard. As shells rain down from Soviet artillery, the bodies burn, but incompletely, charred, disfigured, barely recognizable. No trial, no exile, no capture, just fire in a courtyard of rubble. That's how the so-called Führer went out. Hours later, Joseph and Magda Goebbels make their horrifying decision. Magda gives cyanide to her 6 children, one by one as they sleep. Then she and Joseph walk outside and commit suicide together. 6 children, poisoned by their own mother. This wasn't loyalty. This wasn't sacrifice. This was a death cult. By May 2nd, Soviet soldiers storm the bunker. What they find? Chaos, ash, silence. The Nazi regime, the 1,000-year Reich, is nothing but smoke and broken walls. For decades, rumors swirl. Did Hitler escape to Argentina? Did he live in Spain? Did he hide in Antarctica? All lies. Soviet reports, later DNA analysis. They all confirm Hitler died in Berlin. The myths? Just denial. Refusing to accept that the dictator died, trapped, burned, and broken. So, what do we learn from the bunker? That dictators don't go out with glory. They don't go out with parades. They go out with fear, paranoia, betrayal, and finally, with fire, poison, and silence. If this shook you, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because next time, we're uncovering another chapter of history that school never dared to teach.